Hi there. So, yesterday, my mom was reading the newspaper, the local newspaper, The Economist and Sun, in Markham, the city of Markham, which used to be the town of Markham. And she was communicating to me a story that was there about our, our Buttonville airport is basically going to be closing for good after 60 years of being in the community. Um, this coming November the 30th, and so she went on to say that the lease was up, I guess, and they've either decided to made the decision not to renew the lease, and so what's going to be happening at the former Buttonville Airport is that there's going to be development, and so um, our family, myself, I've been a lifelong Markham resident. I moved to Markham when our family moved to Markham when I was in grade two. So that struck me. I mean, I just like my whole life, there's always been, a small airport in Markham. And growing up, you've always, you look up in the sky in the summertime, and and you see, not just in the summer, but you see the little small planes, and it's just it's part of what made Markham Markham, right? So, um, you know, a few more than a few years back, Markham was changed from the town of Markham, and it was made a city of Markham. And so we lived in a time when we moved to Markham. There was a lot of development was just beginning, and there was a lot of farmland. Even like in the heart of Markham, there was big fields, and I remember just driving with my dad and kind of saying, like, we kind of had the same thought that, like, in the future the city, or not the city, but the town of Markham is going to be so developed. And so we've actually lived here long enough to actually see all of the development take place, from the hospital expanding, making it bigger. There's just so much condominiums coming up. I think the one thing that happened when Markham became a city was that they started building condominiums in Markham. I remember when Markville Mall was, about half the size of what it is now. They expanded, made Markville Mall bigger. These are just some of the small changes that have taken place. And of course, over the years, this has been over, well over 20, 30 years, right? So um, the population has increased in Markham. And so recently, just today, actually, this morning, I was watching the news, and Frank Scarpetti, our mayor, and I know he used to be a really nice guy because he attended the church that I'm still attending now, but the same church that I attended as a youth, is made a proposal to amalgamate the municipalities of York Region into one giant city. And thank goodness, that the mayors of the other municipalities kind of rejected that. And I kind of did a post this morning on Facebook, but it seems as though, like, I clearly remember Markham, the town of Markham, having a distinct soul and a distinct feeling about it. And I think the reason why I want to make this video is because I want to communicate to those out there that even though population increases, you don't have to lose that sense of soul or identity of the place where you're living, which I think, in a real sense, the town of Markham, which is now the city of Markham, has really been commercialized, sold its soul to the devil, so to speak. It's really put the dollar bill above community and above people. I think what strengthens a community, even when the community is experiencing population growth, like the city of Markham, formerly the town of Markham, has experienced over the past 20, 30 years, is that you really have to foster a sense of community. Now, I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I identify as a Roman Catholic. I'm a Christian, though, and so what really stabilizes a town or a city when it's growing like that is you really have to strengthen your communities. Now, I'm not just talking about certain political, idealistic people or communities who really push out other people's views, that sort of thing. I think that everybody's, the foundation is what it should be. Like for me, my foundation is Jesus Christ, and so you obviously can't make everybody in your city believe in Jesus Christ, but strengthening places of worship is really important. Not just Christian places of worship, but other places of worship too, right? So I just wanted to make this video. I still live in Markham. I don't know if I said I still live in Markham, but I just pray. I think what happens is that that people get into power and they start putting profit over people, and I think that's a big mistake. I think as a lifelong resident of Markham, I've lived here my whole life, but I feel like a refugee almost at times, because you get lost. I remember times, the times where you would travel in Markham, whether it was in your car or walking or wherever, taking the bus, and you would see the same people. People were recognizable. Very rarely does that happen now. It may just happen in your street where you live. Very rarely, can you go to the mall now and actually see someone familiar, that type of thing. And so I'm not against people. I'm not against the fact that people have chosen to live in Markham, but what I'm against is kind of destroying its foundation, kind of destroying its soul. When you don't foster a real sense of community, especially within people of faith, that can be dangerous. And I think if you're going to try to grow your city, try growing it from the inside out or from the bottom up rather than from the top down, because when you try to control people, when you try to, you have to consider the poor. In Markham, there's very little affordable housing, and Markham's always been a very rich city, or was it, even when it was a town, it was a very blessed, affluent town, that type of thing. But if you're going to grow something, and I think you want to, I'm still me. I'm still the same person I was 20, 30 years ago. And so I still remember, very much aware of how Markham used to be. And it's just sad. And I think we need to pray for Markham in places like that, who just put the dollar bill more than what really matters. And that's, the heart and soul of the city, trying to keep, not just trying to keep, in a sense, you have to really make an effort to grow your city from the people, not from the dollar bill. I think that's what I want to say. So a little bit about Markham. God bless this town, or this former town, which is now a city. It's been a city for a while now, and I just pray that those who are elected to run our city would remember that Markham has a soul. It had a soul, and to not put profit over people. Thanks. Bye.